special edition of the Community Rec Podcast Supplier Voice Edition. Today I'm joined by Erica Barnes. She's the Director of Business Development at NinjaZone. Erica, first off, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good to see you, John.
Awesome, terrific. Well, let's just dive right into the questions today, and I can't wait to hear from you on some of these responses on some important topics in the industry. But what's a problem or issue that you're seeing right now that with your community rec center clients that they're facing and that needs resolved?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So right now, I feel as though centers are having trouble riding the momentum of what families are already looking for in their experiences. They want to be together. They're looking for high quality activities, but at the same time being affordable and accessible. And centers like the Y and JCCs and community centers in general are positioned to do just that. So you'll see offerings, but offerings that don't engage the whole family. So the issue, I don't believe, is demand. It's really about aligning the program with what families really want.
Awesome. Terrific. So what are maybe common misconceptions that you can dispel surrounding some of these issues?
Yeah, I think one of them is that there's a lack of marketing. I think marketing is very important, but I do think that the experience that is offered when they get them in the door, it's not keeping folks engaged. So they're getting there a lot of the times, but not keeping them engaged. Not only the families engaged, but they're not keeping the staff engaged with continuous education on that programming. So in my opinion, it's marketing isn't the problem. It's programming and retention.
Awesome, terrific. It's good to know because sometimes I think centers have issues with marketing, and maybe that can be an easy scapegoat to pinpoint as the big issue why. And as you've said, that's actually not the big reason. It's more internal and more with the operations. So thank you for that.
Everybody definitely always wants to blame marketing.
I know I have to do a lot of marketing here and social media here for Community Rec, and so I can see the back end of that a lot every day, honestly. But what are some best practices for navigating the issue, some of these issues you've notified of so far, and what are some keys to success for community rec centers?
Yeah, so I think just based on my client pool, the things that folks that are doing this very successfully, I'm seeing three things. So one is they're giving kids programs and a reason to come back, things that parents can see the progress in, and not just providing that play or babysitting opportunity. Second, they're building programs that really do appeal to kids, which is a huge unlock for bringing families in. And then I think the third one is making it easy operationally. So having the processes and programs in place so that the staff isn't constantly throwing stuff on the schedules, just to throw things on the schedules.
Awesome, terrific. And lately, what are some new trends or some recent trends that you've seen surrounding family programming in particular?
Yeah, some trends I've seen. This is one of my favorite questions, actually. So I think programming, we can say programming, we can say sports, but it's shifting towards a non-traditional appeal. So I call the traditional sports ball sports. Well, they'll never go away. Football, baseball, basketball. Parents are really looking for programs that appeal to different kinds of kids. So not every kid wants to pick up a glove or a ball or a bat. And so focusing on programs that are more inclusive and more accessible, and offer a wide range of movement opportunities, that's the biggest trend I'm seeing.
Awesome. And I think that's also being felt around the industry because I know NinjaZone, it kind of really appeals to that. We'll get to that in a second. But I think pickleball is another one. That's a very, very accessible sport that's booming across not just community rec, but also for-profits, anywhere you name it. And so, and also inclusive recreation for all abilities. That's another big trend that I'm seeing as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So how can, getting to NinjaZone now specifically, how can NinjaZone provide community rec centers with the solution to this overall topic that we were discussing?
Yeah, so folks out there are, when they're searching for programs, they're using words like ninja. They're using words like classes for boys, honestly. And a ninja zone is not just for boys, but we get about 10,000 hits to our website every month for of parents looking for this. So once they have that demand, then we provide the system and the processes. So training, the uniform system, marketing tools, ongoing staff education. So it's pretty much an all-inclusive package. So it's not just about, like I said, adding those classes, but it's about keeping them engaged.
Awesome, terrific. And finally, one of the last questions I ask you, Erica, is when it comes to NinjaZone, how are you guys uniquely positioned to assist community rec centers and nonprofit centers very specifically?
So yeah, I'll touch on two things. So not a lot of youth programming out there in general. So I think just having us in that market space has been really educational and eye-opening for me. I feel like I know a lot. Sometimes I feel like I'm an employee of the community center. But the second piece is that we're not a one size fits all approach. We very much go in with a consulting cap and make the space and the program work for that individual center. So we've done such crazy spaces. I mean, a lot of racquetball court conversions, but aquatic viewing centers, child watch spaces, half basketball court. So it really just depends on the goals. If the goals are new membership, if it's keeping families longer, we really use their goals to build out that whole process.
Awesome, terrific. And finally, I think just one last overall question that we can end on is maybe what are some lasting tips or advice that you may have with community rec centers and some of the problems they're facing right now? And just what have you seen from your very most successful clients when it comes to implementing a successful NinjaZone program?
Yeah, I think starting correctly is the biggest thing. So taking time with choosing partners, and having that ramp up, not just throwing things against the wall and throwing things on a calendar and deciding 2 weeks before that this program's going to start. I think that adds so much stress to staff, but just really having a clearer picture on what the long-term goals of family membership are and programming in general.